Barbados, sweet paradise. But the politricksters, full of lies. They want mash up the culture, tear it to the ground. But the people, we stand strong, we hold the rock down. Wake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up. Oh. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up. It's time to rise, time to see clear, time to open with eyes. Tell a friend to tell a friend if you don't mind. Real news for the people in real time. Enough love, enough respect. Welcome to politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Enough love, enough respect. Welcome to politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up. Hey! Wake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up. Wake up.
Okay. First thing first, we do a mic check before I even start anything. Can you hear me out there in cyborg space? If you can hear me, just go ahead and put a comment, put something up. I know I have a whole lot of explaining to do, but we're going to get into it in a minute. But if you can hear me, first let me say greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, Empress Reserve Menin. Y'all already know, man. One perfect balance. Yes, welcome to Politically Incorrect, where we get it correct. And if we're not correct, well, feel free to correct us. It's been a minute. It's been a long time. It's been a long time for real. Let me put this on mute if I can remember correctly. And also let me just go ahead and plug this in online so I could see what's going on in cyborg space. It's been a minute, yo. Like, how do you do this again? Like, oh yeah, I click that. And normally it would come up. Oh, okay. All right, I see you. Wait, yeah, I got it. Okay, got a little eyes in the sky. So let me know what's going on, man. Let me see here right now. Folks can actually hear me because they'll let me know. And our show is back. Well, let me first say greetings. Yes. We back on cyberspace, but we didn't go nowhere. I have tons of footage. I don't even know how I'm going to get this stuff edited and get to you. I gotta figure out some technical software stuff. Yes. Missing in action. Nah, man, I've been in action. I ain't missing. I just miss it from in front of the camera. That's all it is, but definitely not missing in action. It's never a dull moment, but definitely give thanks to all those who reached out, who shout, who connected, who even showed me for my entry day last week? It was last week? Oh, shucks. Yeah, it was last week. Oh, shucks. That time went by quick. I definitely got to say thanks to everyone that took the time to connect and show me and, heal me up on that day. Solar return. Yeah, man, 53. I don't even, mind blowing. Don't even know what to say to that. And what an event it was. Yeah, learn and experience. All I could say, man. Give thanks for life. Give thanks for the opportunity to grow, and search yourself really, and just take inward looks. Inward looks is all I could say. But definitely thanks to everyone that connected for sure. Greetings to all. Marcy, I see you too. Greetings to you too, family. Greetings to you as well. Go ahead and tell a friend and tell a friend. And before I start, let me say, for those who take today as a sacred day, I want to say Shabbat Shalom. To those who observe today as their Sabbath, you know, the Islamic community, Salam Alaikum. Peace, Hotep, to the conscious crew. Y'all already know. Namaste to the brothers and sisters out in the East. My brothers and sisters, brethren and sister in Rastafari, Haile Selassie the First. Y'all already know. Kidamawi, and everyone else. Regardless of what your faith is, what you subscribe to, we say love and we say light, for sure. Having said that, I definitely want to say that it's not by chance that, you know, I find myself in this position tonight, because I do have an opportunity to share, and I definitely want to share. And for those who would allow me to, just my point of view, There's a number of things going on in the region I've been observing, been involved in directly and indirectly. And so just want to drop some seeds tonight. You know, they say you throw your seeds, some fall on concrete, some fall on good soil. Some, you know, the birds come and take some, and, you know, but some actually grow. So that's what we're looking at tonight, seeds that we could plant and let them grow, for sure. And so we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. Yes. Dr. Grant, yes, greetings to you too. Love and light all day, every day. I see you got that pot sizzling with the mushrooms and whatnot, for sure. Greetings to you too, mighty being. Richard, it's been a minute. Greetings to you too. Daffodil, the daffodils, man, in the garden, looking as beautiful as ever. Greetings to you and the whole family. Y'all know where y'all be. Big shout out, big shout out for sure. Happy Earth Strong fam. Yeah. May blessings increase. I give thanks, much receive. You know, for me, this season has been one of learning and unlearning, learning more about me, and recognizing that, you know, we tend to think we know ourselves, and then we find ourselves in a situation. You ask yourself, well, how did I get in this situation? But it's about learning and unlearning. I think sometimes we take for granted that in fact, I think the scripture said, those who stand, take heed lest you fall. I think it's important to always check yourself, double check yourself, and don't ever stop. Don't ever stop. I think it's important, especially in this season and this time, because so much is happening and the writing is on the wall without question. Without question. I said, Emmanuel, my phone alerted. Greetings to you too, Maureen. I give thanks for the warm messages. You're not easy at all. Like I said, shout out to the whole Fade family, Barbados National Congress. Shout out to Kata. Shout out to the elders here in Barbados and Dominica. Shout out to the elders in St. Lucia, folks in Trinidad. Shout out to the elders in St. Vincent, especially St. Vincent just came off of election. Very interested. We're going to touch on that tonight. Definitely touching on that tonight. And guess who's coming to dinner? Yeah, so, you know, guess who's coming to dinner? So we're going to touch on that briefly as well. And, you know, like I said, I'm not even going over half the stuff that's been happening, whether here in Barbados, or I just want to share some thoughts and put some perspective in perspective. So it is quite interesting, you know. I want to answer a question too, by the way. You know, what's been going on with you, family? What y'all been up to? What y'all been recognizing? As always, this platform was started for the people, the voice of the people, for the people, by the people. The numbers on the screen, y'all already know. You know, give a call, and that's not an issue at all. But what I definitely want to touch on, and, you know, put in your mind and something to think about, is change. Like, what exactly is it? And is the Caribbean ready for a change? I started tonight's program. I was actually on my YouTube channel, the page itself, kind of scrolling through. You will see there videos upon videos upon videos upon videos. If you don't see me, feel free to click on anyone you have not yet seen. They are all relative. And I repeat, they are all relative. You could pick any video going down that list of probably over, I don't even know how many. That's a good question. How many videos are on there? But the reality is, I guarantee you, you can't go wrong. It's connected in some form or fashion with what's happening now. The writing has been on the wall, and we've been spray painting. We've been writing graffiti. We've been writing the graffiti. You know what I'm saying? The question is, those who have eyes to see, have you been seeing? Or have you been distracted? And look again, just look again, relook. So having said that, independence is coming up in a few hours, and a lot of things have happened in the last few hours. So I'm just going to jump into stuff tonight. One of the things I also want to speak on is it's interesting first though, and I only say that because it's like they mention it. I suppose I hope y'all were paying attention and y'all notice it. You know what I'm saying? Let me put it this way. I just want to post it first. Let me go ahead and share this screen. Just share the screen because I think that speaks for itself. Before I jump into the other stuff I want to jump into, this is a home drum. This is something I had saved this a while back to do a program before, and didn't get the chance to do it. But I definitely don't want to not share it. So we're gonna touch on it tonight. You know what I'm saying? So bear with me. Let me go ahead and share this. There you go. This is from early in November. It was an article, and I came across it. I was like, nah, like, really? And this is parents, really. This is really for parents, for children who are in school. And not everybody can go to lesson. Nobody can afford the lessons. But I want you to find maybe a teacher in your community who's retired. I want to encourage teachers in the community who are retired to maybe set up some kind of homework program on your own at your house, in your patio, or the veranda or the garage, maybe at the church, because every community in Barbados have at least 30 churches. Okay, I'm exaggerating on purpose, but my point is that there are facilities there that we need to start to tap into. Having said that, though, like I said, I've well, I don't want to say shifted gears, but I pushed in the clutch. You know when you're going up a hill and you're driving a vehicle, and you can't stay in the same gear that you started out the hill with at the bottom of the hill. If you have intentions on reaching the peak, you have to be mindful that if you're carrying a load, then you're going to have to change gears. And at this point in some stage, we need to look at it as changing gears. Why? Because the youth for the future, we got to pay more attention to them in one or the other. But this came up at some point, and I wanted to bring some light to it. Call to change how math is taught amid declining performance. Now, some of y'all may have seen this. I'm sure some of y'all may have seen this before, but I want to touch on it briefly and focus on the fact that let me scroll down here. This was on, let me scroll down. This a video. Let me play the video first, like I said, and let me go ahead and hold on. Let me make this a little larger. I'm gonna take this out of here for a second. The reason I'm going to change this screen for a second. Let me just change that. Hang on. The reason I'm putting focus on this, like I said, I'm sure some of y'all would have seen this before. So I don't want to I'm reinventing the wheel. But there you go. Let me see if I can splice this with myself. How I would have done this before this drop. There you go. Yeah. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to put the emphasis on the family and what needs to be done. What needs to be done. What needs to be done. Because we at a stage where this is becoming critical. Greetings to you too, General. Greetings. Big Pain in the building as well. Shout out to Big Pain. Go tell a friend to tell a friend. Y'all already know, man. Let me play this video and let me play this video. Hang on.
It's very practical. And it is time that within our schools, we approach it in that way. When students are constantly late for school, you can teach them, I'm talking about primary level now, teach them about time. You understand? Time. What time did you get here this morning? 9 o'clock, ma'am. 9 o'clock, sir. 9:15, ma'am. 9:15, sir. What time did you wake up? Well, I think 7 o'clock. So how long did it take you to get ready? Let me calculate that. Right? But we have to be able to make it practical and fun for them. And the beauty of this is that, as Dr. George said, it is not a one-shot workshop, but you will have this preliminary workshop, and then you will have your communities of practice where you will share best practices, share information, talk about resources, etc. And then after that, you will have the Moodle classrooms where you will do some further sharing and further learning. So we're not giving you this and let's just tell you go back to school and implement.
All right. Yeah. So Ms. Archer is interested in this presentation because, like I said, I'm only touching this because I think maybe that I wasn't there, so I don't know what else they shared. But I would like to think that in that moment when they shared that portion of it, the segment that they were displaying there, that somebody recognized that. Let me just go ahead and just make this, that there's work to be done. But what I don't understand is that in 2025, where we see the expansion of AI, the expansion of robotics, the expansion of technology and coding and this kind of stuff, and we at the stage where we are using calculation of time to enhance the children. The article read, in fact, let me put it back up. And this is what I'm saying. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. The article started off by saying, call to change how math is taught amid declining performance. So the issue here is the declining performance. They recognize that the students, in terms of how, in terms of examination, basically, that the subject, the math, in terms of how the children score is declining. And I'm sure this is not just in primary school, this is all across the board. With growing concerns about the decline in students' performance in mathematics over the last decade, the Chief Education Officer, Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw, says the approach to teaching the subject must change. Addressing a mathematics workshop for teachers this morning, she said many students struggle with math simply because of how it's being taught. Now, that may very well be true on many levels, but I would like to think that when I look at videos of China, when I look at videos of Singapore, we always like to compare ourselves to Singapore and these other countries. When I look at Denmark, when I look at some parts of Europe that have completely abandoned this curriculum that we hold so dear to, as if this is the I don't even know, the child favorite blanket or the soother, what do you call it, the pacifier for the baby. I don't know, man. Like they keep talking education reform. I've been hearing about this since 2010 with Ronald Jones, I think it was at the time. 2010 education reform, and here we are in 2026. We might as well round it up. 2026, and we are discussing changing how we teach mathematics using time to calculate. And I don't have an issue with that if that's the most relevant part of what they felt her speech needed to be aired. I would like to think that maybe it's CBC, maybe. Or maybe she said more impactful things, like I said. I wasn't there, and this is not a judgment call. What it is a question, really, is so are we putting more emphasis on the advancement of our children? Are we putting more emphasis on how parents can assist as well? Because think about it. The way we were taught at that time, if that is no longer good and children need to be retaught, then how are parents supposed to help the children when they come home? Because if the old method ain't no good and it ain't working and we want to teach new ways, well, how does that work? So can we, how we approaching that? I think that at this point, there needs to be some serious discussions, not just the school and the teachers and whatever, amongst the families, about what is going to be there for the children in the future. AI is taking over everything. They don't want to talk about that. I mean, no one wants to really have these serious discussions. Right now, school is almost a joke. It's an absolute joke. University is an absolute joke because what they're preparing our children for is to repay the debt called students loan. Nobody's really checking it because in at least 5, 10 years from now, they already have countries right now in states in America where robots have taken over a lot of the things that humans were once doing. You name one job right now, you can put in the comments. I guarantee you, I can think of something I've seen already where a robot is already doing that. And if that's the stage they're at now, you can imagine 5 years from now, man, how much more they will perfect what they already practicing. So then what are we preparing our folk? What are we preparing our children to actually do? So, math is important, very important. So I just wanted to say, parents, man, if you got children at school, if you got children going to lessons and stuff, like start to get involved and look and see what's going on and start to ask some real questions, like really, like, okay, so where is this really going? Because are we preparing our children for the future that is coming, or are we preparing our children to be servants perpetually in the world that is coming? And, by coming, I mean, guess who's coming to dinner? Which brings me now to the other segment of tonight's program. And I know some of y'all may have heard about it, but by a show of hands, not a show of hands, but I guess a show of hands, you could do that. There's a little emoji somewhere there. How many of you have heard about what is called the Monroe Doctrine? Like, have you ever heard of the Monroe Doctrine? MONROE, like Marilyn Monroe. Monroe Doctrine. If you've heard about it, let me see, folks in the comments. Let me see if y'all have heard about that before. That's why I said tonight, guess who's coming to dinner? Again, Trinidad, that's a good place to start. Let me just play the video with Trinidad real quick. That's where we're going to start tonight, with the doctrine, Monroe Doctrine to be exact. Let me go ahead and share this one instead. Close this one. How do I make this full screen? Full screen? Okay. Just gonna play this real quick, and I want my folks here to let me just add this to the screen. How do I add this again? Let me see if I could put it like this. Yeah, put it like this, man. Greetings to you too, Rhonda. Shout out to all my Guyanese family. Shout out to Demerara. She said, "Long not being in your yard." My dear, Rhonda Lynn. Just around the corner, right? This so a different approach to learning, man. We need to really sit our children down and have some serious conversations at home. Some serious conversation, man. Seriously. Greetings to you too, Aaron. Greetings. Lioness, love child, greetings to you too. Greetings. Oneness in the building, for sure. Let me say this, man. I want y'all to listen to this and listen very carefully to this. Go tell a friend to tell a friend. Have you ever heard about the Monroe Doctrine? The brethren say yes. So some folks know about it, and some folks say no. Well, guess what? You're going to hear about it in a minute, man. But before I get to that, let's go ahead and take a listen to this piece right here, real quick. Hang on. Let me make sure the volume is up.
I told you all before, and I repeat, I cannot stop repeating. Some of the other CARICOM countries are not in the position that we are in. They're not so close. Their murder rate, their narco trafficking, human trafficking is not so much. We had over 600 murders in 1 year. We cannot do things the same way and expect things to change. So I remain very committed to the CARICOM. That's where we are sovereign nations. We can differ on certain points. We remain committed to our community, but at the same time, Trinidad and Tobago first. Safety and security for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago is my priority at this time. So since the U.S. intervention in the Southern CARICOM and Caribbean,
Trinidad and Tobago first. Hold on, man. I hope y'all didn't miss that.
That's where we are sovereign nations. We can differ on certain points. We remain committed to our community, but at the same time, Trinidad and Tobago first.
Trinidad and Tobago first. We committed to CARICOM, brothers and sisters. We love y'all. We good. But don't make no mistake about it. Trinidad and Tobago first. That's what she's saying. The Monroe Doctrine. Listen to this thing carefully, man. Hold on. Let me just play the rest of this. Hang on a second. And listen to this carefully, family. Listen carefully to what she's saying, what she's about to say. And this is going to set the stage where I'm going tonight.
Safety and security for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago is my priority at this time. So since the U.S. Intervention in the Southern CARICOM and Caribbean, the murder rate has dropped. Not by as much as we wanted to drop, but it has dropped. It has made a significant difference. So I do not regret, and I will continue to support the U.S. intervention in the Southern Caribbean.
I will continue to support the U.S. intervention in the Southern Caribbean. Y'all remember a few months ago, we had this discussion about the SOFA deal and some other deals that were made. This is when Rowley was in place. In fact, well, if I wasn't mistaken, boy, it's almost a year to the date, to the month ago. If I'm not mistaken, it was almost a year, quite frankly. But anyhow, they had re-signed this agreement, the SOFA, SOFA, and some other doctrines, other agreements. You might want to go look them up if you haven't heard about them or seen them, or check that video I did. I will see if I can post a link if I find it. But this right here, family, listen to what she says next. I support. Now, and the irony of this is what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you two images in a little bit. The irony. Let's get to it. I'm going to show you two images in a minute. The irony, man. The irony. You cannot make this stuff up. At all. Let me let this play. Hang on.
This intervention can only benefit all of us in the CARICOM. I don't know what is the boogeyman narrative that has been pursued by some persons. What is wrong with having people coming to help us fight against narco trafficking, against human trafficking? Why are you so concerned? Do you have any linkages with the drug cartels? No, we don't. And therefore, I take serious umbrage to some persons with a false narrative about this intervention and what it will do for sovereignty and what will not. What this has to do with sovereignty? What does having these people in the waters in the Southcom, how does that affect your sovereignty or my sovereignty? We are still sovereign nations. So I don't see any conflict of interest with Trinidad and Tobago being the lead in the CARICOM for national security. In fact, this is a national security effort that will assist all of us in the CARICOM. My thoughts are that is what we have inherited. We have put in policies, programs in place to lift us out from that zone that they put us into that debt crisis that has been spoken of. But there's good news in S&P's report, which is we are...
Wait, hold up. Whoa, whistle. Right there. What did she just say?
National security. In fact, this is a national security effort that will assist all of us in the CARICOM. My thoughts are that is what we have inherited. We have put in policies, programs in place to lift us out from that zone that they put us into that debt crisis.
That debt crisis. Wait, hold on, where am I? That debt crisis. Family, I want y'all to pay attention to this thing right now.
This we spoken of, but there's good news in S&P's report, which is we are still we changed from stable to negative, but the rating remains the same, which is a good sign to gives us a time to step forward and push the reform policies as we go forward. Well, there are always some people who are not happy in this world, Think about it. The opposition is not happy. They will never be happy. So we always have people who are happy and those who are not happy. I'm not afraid of happy and unhappiness. I think we remain committed, we remain dedicated to improving the lives of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I've already raised that. I was the one 2 years ago who called for repatriation. The then government set up a committee and nothing ever happened. We have a committee now under my government that is pursuing that repatriation of our women and children out of those parts of the world.
Repatriation. Quite interesting. So that Trinidad had an election a few months back, and after Rowley had resigned, and then they had the election, and then they signed this deal. He said he was going to resign, but he will say when after he met with CARICOM first in person, Won't be calling anyone to tell him anything. You know, the phones are wired. So he met in person. I'm sure they discussed a few things when they saw each other. Then he was out the door, and then all of a sudden, you know, the Trinidadian party won. I just want to show the map real quick how that election in Trinidad panned out. Let me see if I can pull that image up. See if I can pull that up. Wait. Okay, yeah, I can do it that way, and then that way. Okay, just double checking. Okay, so yeah, okay. So this is the final result of the election, if I am not mistaken. Try to show you all the actual Trinidad. Okay. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Share the screen, share the screen, share the screen. Okay. One of y'all could go and look that up. Should do some, oh, there you go. How do I get this larger? Oh, here you go. Anybody's familiar with the Trinidadian election? She's not her brother's keeper. Listen to her. She's not her brother's keeper. She was very clear what she's doing. Keyword sovereignty, the republic, the people who are one with the land. Okay. Wait, Vaughn, that's you? How you doing, man? Trinidad is low on U.S. reserves, so they have no choice. Interesting. So there you go. So here's a map of Trinidad election. Okay. Okay. Let's see how this looks in terms of year. Let's look at 2025. Map 2025. Let's look at the map of 2025. Let's get an accurate map so that we don't spread any disinformation, right? You know how it is in the internet these days. Okay. Okay. So this is now being stated as the final map. Hang on. For what year is this? Final map and elections in TNT. Okay, so here's, in fact, let me just save this one time. Hold on, save this instead. Hang on. Yeah, see, we gotta do this in real time just to double check. Spirit said double check, and that's what. Let me go ahead and save this page. Share screen. Okay, here we are. Wait, no, not that one. This one, right. Okay, share that. And this is from this year, and this is pretty much a reputable source. So let me put this up on the screen. Add this to the screen. All right, here we are. So this is what it looks like. At the end of the day, that's what it looks like. That's what it looked like. So they won majority of the seats, as you can tell. They won majority. That's why she became, in charge. There's a lot of yellow and very little red. And why am I saying that? A lot of yellow and very little red. Because like she said, she's going to continue to support America, in the Southern Caribbean. Now, the only problem with that, though, Trinidad, is that Trinidad is not the only island in the Southern Caribbean. There are a few other islands in the Southern Caribbean who may not necessarily feel comfortable with America just, sailing around in the Southern Caribbean. I know Barbados once had a military base in the north of the country where there was a submarine base that America used to use under Barbados, really, because I can't say off the coast of Barbados. To my knowledge, the submarine base was literally embedded under the northern part of Barbados, somewhere in St. Lucie. Now, I have my suspicions as to where, because I'm aware that recently, I think the Chinese have built a facility in the north of the island, something for agriculture. I was just wondering, I wonder, and I don't know, maybe somebody else who knows in Barbados, who knows the history, who knows the terrain, could probably show me this, whether or not that location is on top of the submarine base. I was just wondering if, maybe there's a portal or elevator or shaft or something that we may not know about that might connect the surface with the base. And I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just saying, it just seems, I'm just wondering. But let me share what was shared with me earlier as the final map in the elections in St. Vincent. Let me go ahead and do that one by adding that image also to the screen. Okay. So this is what we're supposed to be looking like in terms of I think they said only person who won their seat in the St. Vincent election was Mr. Ralph himself, and everybody else, well, it's all yellow again. So it's yellow versus red. Just using colors, they use colors to manipulate the thinking of the people. It's always colors. It's always been colors. Always colors. Don't get it tied up and twisted. It's usually the yellow and the blue versus the red. But, that's just my perspective. But anyhow, so we have this yellow, see a yellow again. And why am I saying it again? Well, like I said to you earlier, have you heard about the Monroe Doctrine? What exactly is the Monroe Doctrine? What exactly is it? And why am I bringing that up now? Greetings to you too, family. Greetings. Shalom, Shabbat shalom, family. Greetings to you too. Right speed. So, Monroe Doctrine. Let's get into that for a minute. What exactly is it? Let me just go ahead and drop a clip real quick that might shed some light on that. I think this one could work. Let me share this one instead. Let me give you the speed on this. This might work. All right. Hold on. Hang on. All right. So I'm gonna go to this one. Hang on. Colonize. Yep, the colonizers. Add this to the stage. Let me remove this one. Add this one. Go back to the beginning. Monroe Doctrine. I want you all to listen again. Listen carefully. Just listen carefully. Just listen carefully. That's where we're going with this right now. All right. And I'm going to share this link. Hold on. Because I may not play the whole thing. Let's go ahead and copy this.
By the dawn of the 1820s, many Latin American countries had won independence from Spain and Portugal. Yet Britain and the United States worried that European powers would yet again try to colonize the Western Hemisphere. While President James Monroe at first favored a joint U.S.-British resolution against future colonization, Secretary of State John Quincy Adams distrusted Britain's own colonial intentions, convincing Monroe to make a unilateral statement of U.S. policy, which he delivered to Congress on December 2, 1823. At the time of Monroe's bold message that the Western Hemisphere was off limits to European interference, the young nation lacked enough military clout at the time, which made Monroe's assertion somewhat pointless until the United States became a dominating world power. Not until the Civil War ended would the Monroe Doctrine come of age, when the U.S. government sent military and diplomatic aid to Benito Juarez in Mexico, which allowed his forces to overthrow French-supported Emperor Maximilian from the throne. Theodore Roosevelt was next to invoke the Monroe Doctrine when he used it to justify a succession of U.S. interventions in Latin America. Known as the Roosevelt Corollary, or his Big Stick policy, after Roosevelt took office in September of 1901, he intervened militarily in Central America and the Caribbean, including Nicaragua, Haiti, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic. FDR later softened Roosevelt's Big Stick policy with his Good Neighbor policy, which ushered in a period of greater cooperation between North and South American countries. But at the same time, FDR invoked the Monroe Doctrine repeatedly to intervene over affairs in a number of South and Central American countries. During the Cold War, President John F. Kennedy invoked the Monroe Doctrine during the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, followed by President Ronald Reagan, who invoked the Monroe Doctrine for U.S. interventions in El Salvador and Nicaragua. President George H.W. Bush was the last president to invoke the Monroe Doctrine when he sanctioned a U.S.-led invasion of Panama in an effort to oust corrupt Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega. And there you have it, the Monroe Doctrine, today on the Daily Dose.
All right. Well, there's some things they forgot to mention in this one. That was the Grenada invasion, if y'all remember that one. And Morris Bishop. Guess who is now invoking the Monroe Doctrine? Anybody want to guess which president of the United States is currently invoking the Monroe Doctrine? I will give you a guess. I'll give you a guess. You know, is as loud as a musical instrument. As loud as a musical instrument. Anybody want to guess which president is currently invoking the Monroe Doctrine? I'm looking for that one video. Is this it? Nope. Let's see if it's this one. Nope. 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 Seeing it. Mm-mm. 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 That was a must see though. Like, where did I do with that? Where did I put that? That was a good one. I'll find it. That shouldn't be too difficult. I'll summon it mentally and I'll click on it somehow. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Let me see these comments real quick. Hang on. He said no one should feel comfortable with military assets in or off our waters. Yes, that was going. Come on, Marcy, that was easy. That was easy. Trump and that guy Romano, what's his name? Why would they be doing this? Why? What is it the Caribbean has that America wants right now? What is the one thing the Caribbean has that they want? Outside a strategic location from a military standpoint. Now imagine if the United States government is backing these. It's like Venezuela. They want to take out Maduro and they want to put this young lady in or support this young lady. That they, if you think about all the wars America has had in the Middle East, we've all seen it. We have seen the Kuwait. We have seen the Afghanistan. We have seen we've seen the Iran issue. We've seen a few issues in that neck of the woods, and Iraq. We don't even going to bring up weapons of mass destruction. And the reality is this: look at Grenada, how they manipulated Grenada in order to put their beacons in Grenada. by canceling a major contract and then kind of asking a question afterwards. But we see that they always go in and then they put in a government. Look at Haiti. They install a government. And what happens then? Look at Libya. Look at Libya. Look at Libya during Muammar Gaddafi's time. Go look it up. Go look up Libya during Muammar Gaddafi's time and go look at Libya today. Now, they said he was a dictator and it was bad. Okay, let's say he was, for the sake of arguing. Look at how it was then. Go look at what it is now. I mean, understand that they put these governments in place that people don't really want them. They last a minute, then they kind of show who they really are, and the people are not in favor of that. You think Trinidadians, yes, I'm sure they happy that certain crimes are down, but who's to say that that wasn't them all along? Right? Who's to say that America wasn't doing it all along? COINTELPRO. That's their COINTELPRO file. That's straight direct from the CIA playbook. That's just something they do to destabilize the country and force regime change. But anyhow, Richard said that Libya was prosperous. That's a fact. Go look it up. So guess who's coming to dinner, family? Because the Caribbean has opened up its waters and its shores to entertaining certain foreign policies that may look good at this point. But remember, man, St. Vincent is the breadbasket for the region. The breadbasket. St. Vincent feeds a lot of the countries in the Caribbean, regardless of how it is seen. And, St. Vincent did that for the last few decades. And the thing is this, especially coming out of the banana crisis as a monocrop, mostly the green gold, as it was affectionately called, and then the whole industry crashing. And then they're kind of, taught about diversifying the market and not focusing on a monocrop, but kind of getting into other things, and successfully did that over the last few decades. Realistically speaking, especially the last 10, 15, 20 years, the reality is that had it not been for that, a lot of Caribbean other islands would have had a hard time procuring certain foods. So now that they've had a regime change, St. Vincent has to really now look seriously at what it does with regards to agriculture, in order to maintain that and not at this point find themselves being crippled. Yes, we want change, but let's recognize what's change comes change. And so don't let your dinner guests eat all off the table, because then we're going to have a bigger issue as a people, Ever so welcome, wait for a call, right? Careful who you invite to dinner. Hang on. It said they create a situation and then find this. Yeah, to find a solution. Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. There's no solution, only trade-offs. Wait, Pedro, that's you? What's going on, man? I noticed that this St. Vincent being feeding the Caribbean for years. That's right. And I don't even think a lot of the islands can ever repay St. Vincent. Like, we all owe St. Vincent a debt that we can never repay, man. The level of gratitude that the Caribbean islands who benefit from that should have perhaps is missing in some cases. Barbados, for one, needs to upgrade how they show respect to the Vincentians, because as far as I'm concerned, man, Vincentians don't get it the way they ought to get it. I don't think then that relationship, because of a lot of other things, might deteriorate for different reasons. But I think that Barbados owes a level of gratitude and respect, and to the farmers especially, and people who work diligently to make this thing happen weekly. There's a lot of other Caribbean islands as well, but food right now, man, I can't stress that enough. Now, we had a few. What time is it? Oh, okay. Oh, somebody asked, who killed Morris Bishop? Ooh, Pedro, it would be you to answer that question, right? I had something here just for you. Well, not for you, but pertaining to that same question. Hold on. I'm going to take a look at it again and see if I can find it, because I think it was so important to play that. Man, they gonna get it, man. They gonna come up. They gonna come up, man. They gonna come up, man. They gonna come up. It is going to come up. Well, I hope it come up. Put it that way. It was on Morris Bishop. It was. I was gonna give you a link to go and watch. I wasn't gonna play the whole thing, but definitely give you a link to check out. And I didn't see it, so maybe it wasn't supposed to make this. Will Guyana's oil wealth bring prosperity or turmoil? That was an interesting thing I was watching as well. I ain't seen it. Oh, wait a minute. See? I found it. Yeah, I found it. I'm going to just put this out here. For sure, I'm going to put this out here. Go ahead and put this out here for sure. But this one right here, man, was this the one? Did it start from here, though? I don't. Hang on. Let me add this real quick to that question. Hang on. Let me add this to that question. He said Americans were invited in after his death. That's what I'm saying, man. Oh, that's the Monroe Doctrine. That's the Monroe Doctrine, live and direct. Hang on, let me just go back and add that one to the screen. I think that's the one. That's it for sure. That is it for sure. Go ahead and add that.
Our people understand the value and the benefit of free secondary education because they know now that once their children are able to pass the common entrance exam and get into secondary school, they no longer have to worry about finding those fees, which, as you know, for agricultural workers, for example, were very often impossible. But not just free secondary education, but in effect, free university education. Moving from a situation before the revolution, where in the last year of Gary, 1978, just 3 people went abroad on university scholarships. And they happened to be Gary's daughter and one of his other minister's daughter. Moving from that situation, in the first 6 months of the revolution, 109 students were able to go abroad on free university scholarships. Our people are more and more getting to understand what we mean when we say that education to us is liberation.
You could say that again. I would love to play this whole clip tonight again. I was listening to this the other night, man. You should hear me up in here. But again, we have declining maths. The decline in education in Barbados ain't even a now thing. Like I said, it's been going on for a while. And I'm happy that they actually have the audacity and the courage to speak on it. Miss Archer actually had the courage to do so. But I don't know if they have the right methodology to tweak that. Because again, I don't know. Boy, I don't know. What I could tell you is that we parents need to pay real close attention to what your children are being taught at school, all this talk reform and all that. Are we making slaves? Are we sending our children to school to become slaves? Because we say education, but in what capacity are we really focusing on education? What type of education? The quality of education. Are we preparing our children for the future that's coming? Or are we preparing them to be servants and slaves in the land that their ancestors already paid for, bought with their own sacrifice and blood? Depending on what type of education. Same thing. That's we thinking along the same lines, man. He said his comrades, huh? His comrades. Man, I ain't even touching that one. He said the same education Bishop got. But Pedro, you're going to have to be honest if you're going to say the same education he got, unless you know exactly what education he got. He said nothing is free. Nothing, Pedro, nothing is free. Everything comes with a cost, huh? Education is liberation, but people with degrees still can't work. Well, you know what? I would liken this, Pedro, into like Moses using the scripture as a storyline to share something. He was raised in Pharaoh's house, had the best education and whatnot, and it was only when he became conscious of what was really going on and recognized what was really going on, then did he seek to liberate his people as well, so that he would not be unto them what he might have been educated to be. So while education is important, so is culture. And we mustn't lose sight of that at all. Guyana was once the breadbasket for the Caribbean. Well, Guyana may have once been that. Guyana right now has, you know, in fact, Guyana has been successful in regenerating their agriculture program. Shout out to the elders in Guyana that are working on it, from the university to the regular folks on the street and the farmers in the farmland. Congratulations to them on that. And I sincerely hope they continue that, because I know that, you know, the whole imminent threat about Venezuela and the whole land grab thing in America thing and Trinidad thing is a real thing, and a real thing it is. So let's pay attention to that, family. Anyhow, I just want to drop that right there. I put the link to this particular speech in the comments as well. I'll give you a piece more. Hold on.
That education is a strategic concern of this government. That is why this year, 1982, is the year we have named the year of political and academic education, because we understand the importance of bringing education to our people. Following the establishment of the Center for Popular Education program in early 1980, within 1 year of the work of the CPE program, the illiteracy figure in Grenada was reduced to 2% of the entire population. The people understand that in all areas of their basic needs, real attempts are being made to solve these problems. 2.5 million gallons more of water, pipe-borne water, are flowing into the homes of our Grenadians at this time. Worse, I'm using their language, than the Cuban and Nicaraguan revolutions, because the people of Grenada and the leadership of Grenada speaks English and therefore can communicate directly.
Hold on.
Which, in one sense, friend to Cuba and Nicaragua. That's one. So you can reflect on that one. Of the State Department. There's an interesting one, credible, some utter rubbish. Kinds of reasons and excuses, some of them credible, some utter rubbish. There's an interesting one that we saw very recently in a secret report of the State Department. I want to tell you about that one, so you can reflect on that one.
Listen to this, family. Listen.
That secret report made this point, that Grenada is different to Cuba and Nicaragua. And the Grenada Revolution is in one sense even worse, I'm using their language, than the Cuban and Nicaraguan revolutions, because the people of Grenada and the leadership of Grenada speaks English and therefore can communicate directly to the people of the United States. I can see from your applause, sisters and brothers, that you agree with the report. But I want to tell you what that same report also said, and said that also made us very dangerous. And that is that the people of Grenada and the leadership of Grenada are predominantly black.
I'm gonna leave that right there, family. I'm gonna leave that right there. When you get a chance, the link is in the comments. Go check the rest of that speech out. Very interesting. Pedro asks, if we must be honest, revisiting history, who supplied Bishop with guns and ammunition? Right. Right. You know, the Caribbean is an interesting place. Has always been an interesting place and will always be an interesting place. Here we are now in 2026 with the games that they play, you know, big ships and tanks and all kind of things, submarines in the water, and trying to shake and, you know, shake up these countries and force their hands into submitting to their will in one way or the other. The reality is now, family, that we have our decisions to make, and that's just the bottom line as a people, for the sake of our children and our children's children. And so, you know, those who have eyes to see, let them see, and those who have ears to hear, let them hear, man. Things are not how they used to be. We got to pay attention. Whether you believe it, don't believe it, subscribe or don't subscribe, what you need to do is take stock of where this is going. What will you be doing to safeguard yourself as best you can, you know, with your people, your community, your church group, your school group, your alumni, whatever group, whatever clique, whatever circle, you know. The thing is that we asked for regime change. This is the irony. And since I've been knowing myself, I've watched both political parties in Barbados take turns at disenfranchising the people consistently and perpetually without question. And so, as much as we call for the removal of one now, how long would it be before we call for the removal of said party? Time will tell. Having said that, though, family, let me check the comments. I want to say again, thanks to the folks who was reaching out, shouting, checking, you know, hailing, making sure. I got a lot of footage. I would like to put it out there and post it. Maybe I just upload it to YouTube and just leave it, let it go. Let's do a live one day. Just let it run for probably the whole day. It might be the whole day's worth of footage. Lots of footage. A lot of things happening in the region. Again, shout out to the family in St. Lucia that's, you know, been supportive. Shout out to the family in Dominica that's making this thing happen. Definitely shout out to the family in St. Vincent, Yarraman. Y'all already know where you are, who you are, and where you are. And yeah, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. That's all I can say. And so until next time. Yes, it's been a minute since I was on here. Like I said, I've been missing in action. I've been in action, doing work in the region, just not been in front of the camera as much. Well, this particular one, but other places. So we're gonna upload that at some point so you can get an idea of what's been going on. They say you can hide and buy land, but you can't hide and work it, right? You can't hide and work it, man. But yeah, yeah. Those who know. Those who don't know, y'all gonna find out soon. So Granny always said, don't let your left hand know the right hand doing, especially in these times, man, because not everybody happy for you. Not everybody's supportive of you. And so it's about trying to, like I said, doing better and being of service, really being of service, not for self, but for the sake of people, especially in these times, man. God has called us all to do a work. We must, even if we fall, you know, brush off ourselves, get up and go again. Trust that God will prepare a way and work it out. You know what I mean? So having said that, family, hold on a minute. Hang on a minute. I can trust Pedro to drop something here. I see a question, comment. What is this? Pedro, good question. Hang on. That question will never be answered by socialists. You hiding that information? Nah, Pedro, don't start that again, man. I ain't hiding nothing. I ain't hiding a thing. You ain't read the article, Pedro. It was in the paper. I was told it was in the paper. Well, I did see the article. I can't front, but it was in the media somewhere somehow, and in a secret like that. I just in promoting it. They promote it. I ain't, you know. He said, "You gone already?" Yeah. Marcy, I gone already. Yeah, man. I wasn't going to stick up tonight, man. A lot of folks is calling telling me that they missed the program. that the program has been missed. And it's interesting because my thing is there's several programs that share a lot of information. Someone said to me that, there was a victory at Joe's River. They got the court, turned that around. Thinking if we live in a time where we got to have court, to make these decisions that shouldn't be a decision to make in the first place is crazy. Like, what if the court didn't say no and left it? What next? Say, we're just going to put 2 dynamite in the wall at night and just clear the path all over again? Send a whole different message with a bang. I'm not inciting that, by the way. I'm simply saying we really need to see where this thing is going, especially with the land. This, everywhere you go, you see change of use, change of use, change of use, change of use. Everywhere you go, you see these change of use. It's like, wow. But read the newspaper in years. Yeah, I got you, Pedro, man. I got you. But now we're gonna do it. Like I said, I have footage, Pedro. It just hasn't been uploaded yet. But there's footage about a lot of what was going on, not just articles in the paper or me talking. I like to actually show you what's been going on. So to some degree, we can get that going soon and very soon. So they say I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch, but as soon as we can officially, especially that particular one, yeah, that was really that for me, it was humbling and it was mind blowing. I went to one of the colleges and oh man, like, yeah, yo, the youth. We're gonna do things, man. We're gonna do things. But like I said, I'll load it up eventually. You'll see what's been going on. Until then, family, give thanks. And naturally, and only naturally, cannot not play the anthem. I don't even know, like, how do I pick a song now? Like, how do I, Pedro, where do I go from here? Been a minute. Now, the numbers on the screen, y'all know y'all can message me as well as inbox. Let me know. Yes, there's some folks been calling me for interviews. Oh, am I allowed to say it? Am I allowed? This been a big, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it because I don't know if it's in the media as yet. From what I understand, there was a big case that took place last election that was going on and involving the brother Philip Springer and some others who got involved. I think Alex was involved in it as well to some degree. And they had actually filed a case in the court stating the elections was unconstitutional because it kind of, it prevented people. This was during COVID time. It stopped people from exercising their constitutional right. Well, I have it on good authority that case was finally heard. It's been going back and forth for quite some time. I've been to a few hearings myself. Even got kicked out a couple times. Crazy as it is. Anyhow, from what I understand on good authority, that case has handed down a verdict, and the court has found in favor of Mr. Springer's application that it was unconstitutional, that the election in 20, Pedro, when was that? 2021? 2021. The election that was held in 2021, if that's the right year, wasn't that also deprived folks from exercising their constitutional right. That 2022, okay, thank you. 2022, that was unconstitutional. And so I'm looking forward to the actual court order, what was written from the court and what will be the outcome of that. Like, if the court said that was unconstitutional, then what's next? So let's say hypothetically the court did say, yes, we found that this was unconstitutional, it violated the rights of thousands of people, and therefore that election, with the amount of people, thousands, I'm talking about thousands of people, and a little short of maybe 10,000 people around that neck of the woods, at least between 5 and 10,000, which is a significant amount of people, that would definitely change the electoral decisions in certain constituencies unless all those folks were voting for the same red party. Well, then, if it's unconstitutional, then what does that mean? What does that mean about the election? What does that mean about the things that had happened since then? What does that mean about Barbados at this point in time? I'm just saying, just a question. So January, okay. Okay. Thanks, Pedro. 2022, it was January, correct. And Rhonda is saying Ghanai's opposition lawyers should hear that. Yeah, man, he took him to court. And from what I'm hearing, he actually won. He actually won. He said, call more. Nah, that's all right, Pedro. We'll not be calling Rubio. That's quite all right. We're not doing that at all. He's saying all new laws and rules made up after that election, all null and void. Well, if that election is considered null and void because it was unconstitutional, then what's going to happen? Will Miss Mia Motley, if she hears this, well, I don't think she watched Politically Incorrect, but if she was to be told by someone who watched Politically Incorrect that Emmanuel said that, and she make a phone call and call the Chief Justice, the guy, what's his name? That guy we thought was a lady at some point. Leslie Hines. I think it's Leslie Hines. Yeah, Leslie Hines. And then, we found that was unconstitutional. If that is the case, right, will Miss Motley call a snap election? Because, at this point, if it's unconstitutional, you can't go back and have an election. You're going to have a new election. And the truth is, well, it's almost time to have another election. So the court delay might have been, who knows if it was in cahoots, maybe just coincidental. But just for the Leslie Haynes, yeah, thanks, Pedro. Maybe, just maybe, if they call a new election, would that disturb the whole plans? Remember, shift of power. What happens next, family? What happens next? That is a good question, man. It means President Bostic is out. It will have a lot of implications. It should have a lot of implications. Whether or not it does, maybe the court will find that, well, although it was unconstitutional, would that be serious? Look, man, family, we have some tough and difficult and different days ahead. These are times to be paying attention to what's going on and make a difference, man. Greetings from all the Clark family. Shout out to the Clark's family, man. Big shout out to the Clark family. For sure. He said a rat is out. I'm assuming by rat, y'all referring to Ralph. The rat. Y'all gotta stop that, man. Stop. You gotta cut that out, man. Greetings, family. Greetings. A bad vote cannot make a good vote. Facts. So there's some things that has to change, family, like I said. So there are some things that we have to do. So again, I got it on good authority that the court has made a decision in that case. This is a historic event. This is a historic case, actually. Let me put it that way. And if that is the case, then we're going to have to get Mr. Springer to come and tell us about it. Maybe his attorney as well. I think it was Halu, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to Halu if he's still the one on the case. And congratulations on their victory as well regarding that. Let's see where it goes from here. And will that, I don't know, boy. That's just, anyhow. Shout out to the family. I see you both. Shout out to the family, Gwen and Keith, for sure. Give thanks. We have much to discuss. All land sales are null and void by the BBDLP. Man, I know exactly who this is, man. Amir Aliel. Peace, Islam more. Yeah, it's that time though, family. So let's start to correct some of these things. Anyhow, shout out to the family on Facebook. Shout out to the family watching on YouTube live or live. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Remember, man, take time to have a strategy at this point. It's not even about escaping the matrix and all this other stuff people talking about. Man, you just got to look internally, get your conscious and your being centered. Your center is centered because balance is the key. Balance is the key. Remember, during the storm, the hard trees is the one that break and bend. You see the ones that flexible? Yeah, be like water, man. Good night, peace, love, and light to all. Shout out to the family in UK, by the way. I gotta say that now. Shout out to the family in UK, the matriarch. Shout out to mom. I know you're gonna catch this when you rise. First light. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. And we also give thanks for you, mom, for continuing your fight with your family legacy and your inheritance. Definitely want to encourage you to continue that path and much success in your future endeavors. You know, victory is coming, it's coming, it's coming, man. What is it that guy sounds like Alex Mitchell? No comment. No comment. Rhonda, we're gonna get there in love and unity, inshallah. God's willing. Anyhow, family. Man, like remember your history. Waste no more time. Yeah, but yeah, family, just pay attention, family. Like Pedro said, there's no war. Although there may not be a war, the fact that they're present does disturb a lot of different things and keep, you know, a lot of these countries on a kind of a leash. You know, who knows what they're really doing. If they go into Venezuela, it's gonna be a problem. If they pull back, it's gonna be a problem. America's gonna look like, you know, so maybe they'll discuss with Maduro something or the other. Who knows? Let me see how that goes. But keep paying attention, family. Anyhow, we out. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing your energy, your synergy with us. We give thanks, like I said, for those who rest this evening. Enjoy your rest. At least lasted first. Ambitious Menin. One perfect balance, family. Be at peace. Be like water, and keep flowing. That's what's up. That's what's up. Let me see if I should drop this one, this one, this one. Mm-hmm. Might not.
Sweet paradise.
We out, family.
But the politics stirs, full of lies. They want mash up the culture, tear it to the ground. But the people, we stand strong, we hold the rock down. Wake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up. It's time to rise, time to see clear, time to open we eyes. Tell a friend to tell a friend if you don't mind. Real news for the people in real time. Enough love, enough respect. Welcome to politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Enough love, enough respect. Welcome to politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Politically incorrect. Wake up, shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up. Hey! Wake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up my people. Shake up, wake up. Wake up.
Yes, wake up. Y'all already know, man. Y'all already know. Let me see if I could pull out piece this video real quick and stash it here. Let me see if I can pull it out. Let me see if I download it. What will happen? Pedro, I'm looking for it. Give me a second. Yeah. Looking for it. Hang on. Okay. All right, family. Hold on a minute. Who's sounding like me? It must be waking up. Shout out to Alex Mitchell, man. Big shout out to Alex for sure. You don't know. Have a peaceful night to you too, Gwen and family. Listen, shout. My cousin, new Prime Minister of SVG. Okay, Alex Mitchell. Shout out to the family. You already know. So this song is my ringtone. Really now? Okay. Okay. Interesting. I thought I was the only one that had that on my phone. All right, Sonny. We give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. Yes, Maureen, we give thanks. When in the case in the back door rule, Philip was to be the opposition, not Thorn. So Mia sent he over to block. So you're saying that Thorn was to block Philip? Interesting. Perhaps Mr. Thorn will call Philip. Who knows? Who knows? We see how you go, Alex. Anyhow, folks, have a peaceful and restful evening. It's good to be quote unquote sitting in the seat again. Of politically incorrect, where we get it correct. Tell a friend to tell a friend, family. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We out. Just for those who love that tune right there. I ain't gonna front, man. That tune right there be hitting differently. We out.
Barbados, sweet paradise.